Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India puts the onus of de-escalation on Pakistan, says it will raise its concerns regarding Pakistan's loans at an International Monetary Fund meeting on Friday. India foils Pakistani attempts to engage military targets in 15 cities, intercepts drones and missiles, neutralizes Pakistan's air defense system in Lahore. And Prime Minister Modi chairs a high-level meeting in New Delhi, reviews emergency preparedness and inter-ministerial coordination after Operation Sindoor. India on Thursday foiled Pakistan's attempts to escalate tensions with India by targeting military installations at multiple locations. India responded by neutralizing Pakistani air defense system at Lahore. Pakistan attempted to target Avantipura, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Adampur, Bathinda, Chandigarh, Nal, Phalodi, Uttarlai and Bhuj using drones and missiles. These were neutralized by the integrated counter-UAS grid and air defense systems. India's Ministry of External Affairs addressed a press conference on the developments of Operation Sindoor. Wing Commander Vyomeka Singh of the Air Force highlighted India's response to Pakistan. Take a listen.
Today morning, Indian Armed Forces targeted air defense radars and systems at a number of locations in Pakistan. Indian response has been in the same domain with the same intensity as Pakistan. It has been reliably learnt that an air defense system at Lahore has been neutralized.
16 innocent lives have been lost in the meantime, including 3 women and 5 children because of Pakistani firing. And therefore, India says it was compelled to respond to bring mortar and artillery fire from Pakistan to a halt. The Indian Armed Forces reiterated a commitment to non-escalation, provided it is respected by the Pakistani military. Wing Commander Singh said that Pakistan has intensified its firing.
Pakistan has increased the intensity of its unprovoked firing across the line of control using mortar and heavy caliber artilleries in areas in Kupwara, Baramulla, Uri, Poonch, Mendhar and Rajouri sectors in Jammu and Kashmir. 16 innocent lives have been lost, including 3 women and 5 children due to the Pakistani firing. Here too, India was compelled to respond to bring mortar and artillery fire from Pakistan to a halt. Indian Armed Forces reiterate their commitment to non-escalation, provided it is respected by the Pakistan military.
India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri also addressed the press conference by the Ministry of External Affairs. The Foreign Secretary said that at the UN Security Council, Pakistan opposed the role of the TRF, which is the Resistance Front, even after TRF claimed responsibility for the Pahalgam attack not once but twice.
दिलचस्प बात यह है कि संयुक्त राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा समिति में जब पहलगाम के हमले को लेके एक प्रेस वक्तव्य जारी करने की बात चल रही थी, तो आप सोचिए किस देश ने टीआरएफ का, द रेजिस्टेंस फ्रंट का उसमें मेंशन किया जाना, उसको अपोज किया, पाकिस्तान ने. This was after the fact that the TRF claimed responsibility for this attack not once but twice, within a few hours after the incident on the 22nd of April and then again on the morning of 23rd April. And it is perhaps only after the full gravity of the incident was realized by its masters and handlers across the border that it was managed to back off from this claim.
The Foreign Secretary also said that Pakistan indulges in delaying tactics and stonewalling tactics as well. There's enough reason to believe that Pakistan uses evidence that India provides only to cover its tracks and defend the terrorists who India is looking for and obstructing the path of investigation.
Pursuit of justice for the victims of multiple terrorist attacks, whether it be Mumbai in 2008, in Pathankot in 2016, or many others. But in particular for these two attacks, India had offered to cooperate. India provided forensic evidence and urged Pakistan to bring the perpetrators of these attacks to justice. The experience has not been positive, and it certainly doesn't give us the confidence now to take at face value Pakistani assertions of wishing to participate in a joint investigation. These are just delaying tactics, these are just stonewalling tactics. And in fact, there is reason to believe that Pakistan uses the evidence that we provide only to cover its tracks and in fact defend the terrorists who we are looking for.
In yet another measure taken by India in the interest of national security, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting issued an advisory for all OTT platforms, media streaming platforms and intermediaries operating in India to discontinue the web series, films, songs, podcasts and other streaming media content, whether made available on a subscription-based model or otherwise, having its origins in Pakistan with immediate effect. A day after India's Operation Sindoor, Prime Minister Modi on Thursday chaired a high-level meeting with secretaries of government departments and ministries, calling for coordination to uphold operational continuity and institutional resilience. The day also saw the opposition parties being told about the valor of the Indian Armed Forces at the all-party meeting held in New Delhi, which was chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and top political party leaders. Leaders across party lines once again pledged unequivocal support to the government in whatever actions it may take against the perpetrators. DD India's Dheeraj Das reports.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday chaired a high-level meeting with secretaries of various ministries and departments of Government of India to review national preparedness and interministerial coordination. The meeting was called to gauge and evaluate national security concerns post-Operation Sindoor, in which India carried out targeted strikes on terror hubs deep in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Prime Minister Modi stressed the need for seamless coordination among ministries and agencies to uphold operational continuity and institutional resilience. Prime Minister reviewed the planning and preparation by ministries to deal with the current situation. He called for continued alertness, institutional synergy, and clear communication as the nation navigates a sensitive period. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to national security, operational preparedness, and citizen safety. Amid the developments, Union Government on Thursday held an all-party meeting in Delhi, chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, and briefed the various political parties about the affirmative action taken during Operation Sindoor on Wednesday. The second all-party meeting after Pahalgam strike saw leaders across party lines once again pledging unequivocal support to the government in whatever actions it may take against the perpetrators of the attack and their handlers. The entire political class spoke in one voice, lauding Operation Sindoor and extending unconditional support to the government.
सब लीडर्स ने एक मत से हमारे सेनाओं ने जो कार्रवाई की है ऑपरेशन सिंदूर को लेकर के पूरे बधाई भी दिया और गौरव का एहसास सबको हुआ है और सबने एक जुट में कहा है कि सरकार का हर निर्णय को साथ देंगे, सेना के हर कार्रवाई को साथ देंगे और कोई इसमें विरोधाभास नहीं है।
इस संकट के घड़ी में हम सब आपके साथ हैं और आप जो काम कर रहे हैं, करते रहिए और देश के हित में हम आपके साथ रहेंगे। मैंने अपनी बात में ये कहा कि एक इंटरनेशनल कैंपेन हमको चलाना चाहिए टीआरएफ के खिलाफ, और खास तौर से सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल इसको डिजिग्नेट करे, और हमको यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका को ये बताना है कि वो अपने ही मुल्क में इसको फॉरेन टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डिजिग्नेट करे।
Later, addressing the National Quality Conclave at DRDO in Delhi on Thursday, Defence Minister Singh hailed India's armed forces for successfully targeting and destroying terror camps in Pakistan and POK under Operation Sindoor.
जिस प्रेसिजन के साथ, यानी जिस सटीकता के साथ ऑपरेशन सिंदूर एग्जीक्यूट किया गया, वह अनइमेजिनेबल है, बहुत ही सराहनीय है। इसमें 9 टेररिस्ट कैंप्स तबाह हुए और अच्छी खासी संख्या में आतंकी मारे गए। जिस तरह से इस ऑपरेशन को किसी भी इनोसेंट को नुकसान पहुंचाए बिना मिनिमम कोलेटरल डैमेज के साथ अंजाम दिया गया, वह इसलिए संभव हो पाया क्योंकि हमारे फॉर्मिडेबल एंड प्रोफेशनली ट्रेन्ड आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के पास इक्विपमेंट भी हाई क्वालिटी के थे।
The day also saw National Security Advisor Ajit Doval meeting Prime Minister Modi at his residence in New Delhi, briefing him on the cross-border situation. Meanwhile, the centre directed all states to intensify surveillance of anti-national propaganda on social media and take swift action against it. The direction came amid a disinformation campaign by Pakistan after Operation Sindoor. Dheeraj Das's report for DD India.
India's enemies remain relentless, whether along the borders or in cyberspace. But the nation stands prepared. The Indian government is acting with resolve, fortifying its defense not just with weapons, but with truth. From exposing misinformation to dismantling Pakistan-backed propaganda networks, every step is aimed at safeguarding citizens from psychological warfare.
After India's strike on 9 terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, a parallel conflict has unfolded on social media with fake videos, misleading images and unverified claims flooding platforms like X and Facebook. The Indian government's fact-check unit under the Press Information Bureau has ramped up its effort to debunk false narratives being circulated online. The government has urged people to avoid sharing unverified information and rely only on official sources.
जो फेक न्यूज़ है, हमारा देश का एकता को कमज़ोर करने के लिए कई गलत नैरेटिव्स या फेक न्यूज़ चलाने का प्रयास कर रहा है, इसका मुद्दा सामने में आया है। और हम अपील करना चाहते हैं कि ऐसे समय में कोई फेक न्यूज़, गलत तरीके से नैरेटिव कोई अगर चलाते हैं बाहर से देश के अंदर में, तो उसको विश्वास ना करें, और कोई भी न्यूज़ ऑथेंटिक हो तभी इसको विश्वास करें।
What started as a focused and effective military operation by the Indian Armed Forces has now spiraled into a chaotic online propaganda rift. Pakistan-based handles are tagging old videos to falsely claim a strike on a military base in Amritsar. Debunking these false claims, PIB said that the video being shared is from a wildfire last year. Pakistani social media accounts are recycling this old video claiming a hit for Pakistani forces. PIB's fact check, however, found that the video dates back to 2019 when an Indian Air Force helicopter crashed near Budgam, Jammu and Kashmir. Demolishing Pakistan's claim of shooting down an Indian fighter jet, PIB clarified that the video being shared is from February 2025 and depicts the crash of an Indian Air Force Mirage 2000 aircraft near Shivpuri, Gwalior, which occurred during a routine training mission. Pro-Pakistan social media handles and even influential political figures are deliberately spreading fake news, fabricating stories of miraculous military victories and heroic retaliation that simply do not exist. Their goal is clear: to flood the information space with falsehoods so quickly and overwhelmingly that it becomes difficult to separate fact from fiction. This goes beyond mere misinformation. It's a deliberate, orchestrated effort to warp reality, mislead the masses, and shape public perception to serve a specific agenda. In a blatant effort to hijack the narrative and distract from the reality on the ground, Pakistan's state-affiliated accounts have turned to their familiar playbook, recycling outdated images, misrepresenting old videos, and inventing completely fabricated claims. However, the Indian government has taken decisive steps to combat misinformation by banning several Pakistani social media platforms known for spreading false narratives. But new mischievous ones keep cropping up every now and then. Bureau Report, DD India.
An old video is also being shared to show a Pakistani attack on an Indian military colony. Scrapping the video, the PIB fact check said it is a video from Indonesia dated 6th May 2025 and was recorded before Operation Sindoor was even launched. Major world leaders have supported India in its fight against terrorism. Operation Sindoor struck terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Top global officials have also expressed their concerns over Pakistan's support for terrorism. Here's a report.
In response to the terror attack targeting tourists in Pahalgam on April 22nd, India launched Operation Sindoor on the terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir on Wednesday. Leaders across the world have supported India's firm stand in fight against terror. US President Donald Trump said that people knew based on some of the past experience that something was going to happen. He hoped that the fighting would end soon. Israeli ambassador to India, Reuven Azar, took to social media platform X. He wrote, Israel supports India's right to self-defense. Terrorists should know that there is no place to escape from their heinous crimes against innocents. France's Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs on Wednesday said it supports India in its fight against terrorist groups. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot has also called on India and Pakistan to exercise restraint. Speaking in the UK House of Commons, Member of Parliament Priti Patel condemned the April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack and called on the British government to strengthen counter-terror cooperation with India. Patel also highlighted the importance of UK's security cooperation with India.
This is clearly a precarious moment, and we want to see tensions ease between India and Pakistan. We want to avoid a state-on-state military escalation. We're also clear that India has the right to take reasonable and proportionate steps to defend itself and to dismantle the vile terrorist infrastructure that has caused death and continues to threaten them. And we know that terrorists based in Pakistan threaten India and Western interests. It was the country that Osama bin Laden was hiding in. And because of the long history of violence inflicted by terrorists on India, the UK has in place long-standing security cooperation agreements with India.
UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy in a statement said UK was clear in its condemnation of horrific terrorist attack in Pahalgam last month. He added that UK needs all sides to work urgently to see regional stability restored and ensure protection of civilians. Former UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak strongly supported India in its fight against terrorism, saying, no nation should have to accept terrorist attacks being launched against it from land controlled by another country. He added that India is justified in striking terrorist infrastructure. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres' spokesperson said that UN chief is very concerned and has called on both nations to exercise maximum military restraint. Netherlands MP Geert Wilders, while extended his support to India, wrote on X that Kashmir is 100% Indian, using hashtag Pakistan behind Pahalgam. Panama, a non-permanent UNSC member, has issued a statement saying it stands in solidarity with India in the ongoing fight against terrorism. Other countries, including Russia, UAE and Japan, also stood by India in its fight against zero tolerance to terrorism. Bureau Report, DD India.
Dr. Abbas Arakchi called on President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. The visit is taking place on the special occasion of the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two nations. President Murmu noted that India and Iran share years of civilizational and cultural ties. The Iranian minister is on a two-day visit to India. Earlier, Iran's Foreign Minister Dr. Abbas Arakchi co-chaired the 20th India-Iran Joint Commission meeting. along with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. The two leaders held a comprehensive review of the bilateral cooperation and agreed on the next steps in multiple domains. They also held wide-ranging discussions on regional and global developments. In his remark at the meeting, Minister Jaishankar underscored that Arakchi's visit is happening at a time when India is responding to a particularly barbaric attack on 22nd April in the Jammu and Kashmir, leading it to respond on 7th of May by striking at the cross-border terrorist infrastructure. Further, he noted that India has no intention to escalate, but if attacked, it will be met with a very, very strong response.
Excellency, you are visiting India at a time when we are responding to a particularly barbaric terrorist attack on 22nd April in the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. This attack compelled us to respond on 7th May by striking at cross-border terrorist infrastructure. Our response was targeted and measured. It is not our intention to escalate the situation. However, if there are military attacks on us, there should be no doubt that it will be met with a very, very firm response. As a neighbor and a close partner, it is important that you have a good understanding of the situation.
Earlier, Minister Jaishankar met with Saudi Arabia's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Adil Al-Jubair, in New Delhi. During the talks, Minister Jaishankar shared India's perspectives on firmly countering terrorism with his Saudi Arabian counterpart. The Quad countries, Australia, India, Japan and the United States, have conducted a key simulation exercise to boost regional coordination and disaster response. From April 28 to May 2, the four nations gathered at the Asia-Pacific Center for Security Studies in Honolulu, Hawaii, for a tabletop simulation focused on the Indo-Pacific Logistics Network, or the IPLN. In a statement, the Ministry of External Affairs said this network will help Quad partners respond faster and more efficiently to natural disasters and can also be used in situations involving military conflicts in the Indo-Pacific region. Experts believe this coordination is crucial to countering any inimical activities in the Indo-Pacific. The Quad reaffirmed its commitment to keeping the Indo-Pacific region free, open and secure through practical cooperation and shared readiness. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has proposed a three-day ceasefire starting Thursday to coincide with Moscow's Victory Day parade on Friday. Ukraine never agreed to the proposal and dismissed it as theatrics and called instead for a 30-day ceasefire. For the past 3 days, Moscow and Kyiv staged aerial attacks, prompting airport closures in Russia. The attacks triggered hours of chaos late Tuesday and Wednesday, with temporary airport closures in Moscow and its surrounding regions. The Kremlin has said Russian forces will honor Putin's order for the duration of the holiday, but will respond immediately if Ukraine launches any fire. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky renewed his call for a 30-day ceasefire in his evening address on Wednesday.
І абсолютно справедливо, що
It is absolutely fair that the Russian sky, the sky of the aggressor, is also uneasy today in a mirror-like way. Ukraine's proposal to cease strikes and establish at least a 30-day ceasefire remains in force. We are not withdrawing this proposal, which could give diplomacy a chance. But from Russia, the world sees no response. No response except for new strikes. This clearly and obviously demonstrates to everyone who the source of the conflict is.
не бачить відповідь.
In other news, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has said that Trump administration wanted Russia and Ukraine to agree on some guidelines for talking to each other directly, which would be necessary to end the conflict.
Obviously, the United States is happy to participate in those conversations, but it's very important for the Russians and the Ukrainians to start talking to one another. We think that is the next big step that we would like to take. And why does that matter? The reason it matters is because, again, I mentioned the Russians, but also the Ukrainians have also been sort of, they've put a piece of paper in our hands. that says this is what we would need in order to bring this conflict to a successful resolution from our perspective.
And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code now on your screen to download it. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.